what's brewing at the AEO.
The average human attention span is 8 seconds. Short-term memory only lasts for 15 to 30 seconds. Your notes are an essential academic tool. In your classes, executive functioning, including your focus, working memory, and processing, is taxed, so taking notes can be a challenge. You were probably told sometime during middle school that taking notes was essential for your success, but many of us don't have an effective note-taking system yet. Why are notes important? Students who strategically review their notes before an exam earn, on average, 1/3 of a letter grade higher than peers who do not use their notes in that way. We don't want to just create notes. We want to use notes effectively. In another study, subjects played the memory game concentration. The goal is for players to memorize the locations of cards after being covered up. One group was asked just to memorize the cards, like usual, while the second group was asked to take notes. The note-takers did significantly worse than the group that was asked just to memorize the cards. Why did this happen? When we take notes and neglect to process information, we're using what researchers call an intentional forgetting strategy. What we need to do is find a system to take notes that helps us to process information, make connections, and integrate information into our longer-term memory storage. One way that we can elevate our notes is not just by taking notes, but by making notes. Note-taking often happens while listening. The goal is to quickly capture content so we can refer back to it later. Note-making, on the other hand, is more common for us while we're reading. It consists of deliberately crafting our own version so we can learn and create better. Note-taking is fast, uses the original author's language, and might feel easier to produce, although it can make some people feel pretty anxious. This information is often poorly assimilated and easily forgotten. In contrast, note-making is slower, more involved, and uses our own language. As a result, the content is easier to understand and remember. You can use the Feynman technique for this note-making process. Imagine you were explaining it to a 6th grader. Break down the ideas, figure out the why, along with the how. Write down that 6th grade explanation. Your notes are a vehicle to help you engage with and master course material. Note-taking, as opposed to note-making, is only helpful if it's considered the first step in a process. So if you do decide that note-taking in class is a helpful first step for you, make sure to find a rhythm for note-making as the second step in the process. Shortly after class, take your notes and break down the information into smaller chunks, in your own words, and in a way where you can start to engage, connect, and apply the information to what you already know. Neuroscience tells us that learning is a dynamic process. Most people can't learn just through mere repetition. It requires active engagement and hooking of information onto something you already know or understand. In fact, the more time you engage with information, the stronger and thicker the memory grows. Actually, what's growing is the neural pathway, so regular engagement with your notes is essential for learning. Here's another study that illustrates the importance of relearning sessions for remembering information for a final exam. Researchers found that the more relearning sessions a student engages in before an exam, the higher their grade. Relearning can be any number of things, including study groups, reviewing your notes, mind mapping, outlining, watching videos, writing, doing practice problems, and going to office hours. Find creative ways to engage. For learning, timing is also important. Another experiment had 2 groups of students do 10 math problems each, but one group received them all on day 1, while another group received 5 on day 1, and another 5 1 week later. The first group scored higher in the first exam, but the second group scored significantly higher on an exam with the same content later that year. We can get the best of both worlds by front-loading your learning and then regularly engaging in relearning sessions. You'll do well on exams and hold on to that information for the entire semester and beyond. And that's what we're hoping for, right? Here's one more research study to help you understand the age-old debate. Which is better, typing or handwriting your notes? A class was divided into 2 groups. One group of students handwrote their notes, and the other group typed their notes. They found that students in the second group, the typing group, produced twice as many notes, but the handwriting group scored dramatically higher than the typing group on exams. Researchers posit that the more effort you put into something, the more likely you are to remember it. After looking at all this research, we can say that it's true whether you handwrite or type your notes. Taking more notes won't automatically help you get a better grade. Our goal is to find a way for you to engage with course information and have it make sense to you and your needs. And there are countless ways to do that. The big takeaway today is that in order to make your notes most effective, you can't just take them and then not look at them until the night before the exam. Review your notes regularly, put them into your own words, engage with them multimodally, and you'll find that you'll feel more confident for class discussions, papers, and exams. Click on the link in the description or in our coaching resources folder to find more ways for you to engage with your notes more regularly. If you want some help with finding your own personal system for making notes, join us at our upcoming workshop or contact us at aeo@vassar.edu to meet with an academic coach.